If you listen to your new record Matador, it's quite personal. So, what was it? What did you discover in this type of songwriting?
I don't know. I just tried to be sort of more, just as kind of instinctive as I could, really, with ideas. And you get a kind of a beat come into your head, or a riff, or a melody, and the idea was just to get into the studio and put it down as quickly as possible. Without learning it too much or without thinking about it too much, so that it's very immediate kind of ideas, immediate thoughts that you kind of get down onto tape, and then as it went along, it just became more coherent and more focused, and so it's just cool to be able to write like that, without the sort of any restraints,
Right.
and yeah.
Was it? What was the starting point then for Matador? Was there a certain point that's?
Yeah, I think probably Buffalo. When I wrote Buffalo, it was sort of end of 2000. Well, it was around the end of 2013. So yeah, I wrote that, finished it, and I just decided to mix it straight away. To put it out as a little 7-inch single while I was in the studio. I guess it's almost a sort of, in a strange way, to get a bit of a vibe from people and just sort of say, look, this is what I'm doing, what do you reckon? And it went down so well that I guess it lifted me up, and it just sort of propelled me forward through the record, And so kind of Buffalo was definitely the seed of the rest of the record, yeah.
Because what you see, well, sometimes artists, they have a song that they started with, and then the other songs tend to gravitate towards it. Was that the case with Buffalo then?
I think so, at least sort of sonically, the approach. Like the chorus of Buffalo is this kind of quite sort of big dynamics. It kind of explodes, but there's only kind of like 3 instruments on there. I think there's like a mellotron, big mellotron sort of choir thing almost, and drums and piano, and I like that simple instrumentation, but a big sound, kind of, quite a powerful sound. And so I think that was a sort of bit of a template in a way. That's how I wanted to approach the songs, rather than nice sort of tidy structures. If it went on for like a minute before,
right,
or 2 minutes before anything big happened, that's cool, just kind of simmer away and then explode and then come back down and then explode again. I don't know, there's various ways of doing it, but that kind of excited me at the time, that sort of approach of using dynamics,
This simplicity, in a sense, and was this born out of you creating most of it in your own studio and recording the instruments yourself?
Yeah, and also I guess the first album, it was a bit of a reaction to my first album, which I think was quite busy in places and experimental and kind of exploratory, but I think that's the way that it was supposed to be, and I like it. I like it because it was kind of quite experimental, and I'm kind of finding my way a little bit and feeling around, trying to see what connects. It's almost, I suppose, the kind of purpose of a debut album in many ways is to sort of see what you naturally gravitate towards. And so this album, yeah, it definitely feels like I've kind of pulled it into focus,
There's one, continuing on the song Buffalo, there's one line I wrote down, which was, I've lost my way, I found the only road. Can you explain that a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, it's rooted in the actual song itself, which is about kind of, wandering aimlessly through a desert, and you befriend this buffalo creature that you jump on its back, and he kind of sorts you out, takes you out of the wilderness. You can look into that what you want. It's kind of more of a sort of a mad, surreal story, really. Okay. I'm sure there are moments in it that hold little metaphors for life, but no, it's not. I don't think it's not a literal metaphor. Okay. That line, it's not. I didn't feel like I'd lost my way necessarily. Right. As a musician, I was just, I was just experimenting and trying new things. So.
Well, because there are some dark elements on the record, but also not in a depressive way or anything. So was this dichotomy, in a sense, important to you, to have this heavier side, but also keep it light in a way?
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I mean, I was saying to someone earlier on, I don't know. I guess it's kind of. It's similar to how I sort of look at comedy, you know, or something. It's kind of, you know, the best comedy is always the dark stuff. It's always the sort of black comedy, sinister comedy, weird sort of stuff. But there will always be a moment of like of relief, of kind of like a punchline, or you know. And I guess I quite like that about lyrics. Sometimes you can be really kind of quite dark and fucked up about it, but maybe at some point through it, you kind of sort of say, but look, it's fine. It's all right. It's all cool. You know, I'm just gonna dance on through this this shit and just kind of move through it and look forward. You know. So there's it's kind of about resilience and just sort of, you know, we all get stuff in life that's kind of tough to deal with, or kind of moments of like collapse and when everything falls apart around you. But equally, we all have moments where you're on top of the world, you know, and nothing can defeat you. And that's kind of, I quite like that contradiction in life, that it's not perfect. It's pretty messed up, you know, just kind of, but there's enough there to sort of, to kind of, to keep you pushing forward and keep you kind of focused and happy, you know.
And maybe I'm reading too much into this, but in the closing track Matador, there's also a line, the hardest fight is the one you have to fight alone. So is this a continuation of what you just mentioned, in the sense that we all go through ups and downs, but you kind of have to go through it?
Yeah, but it's also about family, I think, and about sort of, about love and, you know, yeah, I couldn't have got through some of the shit that that's happened in life without people that I love, without people close to me, you know. So yeah, I mean, the hardest moments are the moments where you're facing it all alone, when you're kind of in that place on your own and you can't, nobody can help get you out of it. And that's why, you know, friends and people you love are so important, to kind of be around and to kind of have that connection with.
And when in the process then did the title of Matador pop up?
I don't know, it's about sort of halfway through, maybe 3/4 way through the recording, and I don't know, I just woke up one morning and just had Matador in my head, and I guess the first thing from a sort of, I don't know, in a sort of old school way, I kind of just sort of thought, what a cool line, what a cool word. You know, that would be great written down. And then the more I sort of thought about it, it suited elements of the lyrics, and you know, and I had the lyrics for the final track. I had some of those lyrics for Matador, the final song, and I felt like it all just kind of glued together. You know, it was that sort of, you know, album titles are hard. You know, it's a kind of, it can be a really tricky sort of phase of the album, but so it felt like for me it was the real glue for everything, and I held it together.
And was there a certain significance to the song then as well? Because it is quite a short song, it ends quite abruptly.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's just sort of like a, you know, I don't know, like a finishing thought, like a thought to kind of sum up the record in a way. It's like a moment that, yeah, it just sort of kind of creates some clarity to what's just been before. You know, maybe it's just it's like the end credits, you know, with a little explanation. I don't know, yeah.
Okay, thank you very much for your time.
Thanks, man.
Thank you.
Thank you.